has a great potential to go in for the flank. The only target, though, but right now, we are ready. The green grass of home for our feet will not doing happening in Keraton, as some of the players from Vipex will be meeting up a few from Fisher. That is tough and final circle, but a few of the teams right here already dropping into Clock Tower, and that's O1 Esports together with the YLS going against each other. That is tough, and engagement already happening. Also, a potential hot drop that will be happening in Keraton, as some of the players from Vipex will be meeting up a few from Fisher Tiger. But back into Clock Tower right now. Clock is ticking, and let's see who's going to run out of time.
Yeah, we've got a chrono on WA and a plasma gun. I'm not so sure exactly how that's going to fare for him, but when you get into a hot drop, you pick up whatever the hell you can get your hands on and try your best. J. Cole, on the other hand, it's going to be in a little bit of a pickle now as he gets caught out, uses up that one glue wall that he had on himself. Lotex bows straight in for the fight, gets tagged up by the Narrow Slushy as well, but a backstab from nowhere as Alangsi takes that opportunity to take this out of the equation.
And that's 1-for-1 for between these two teams in Clock Tower right now. Let's see if O1 can go for a revive as they head into the vending machine right now, and no opponents inside. So they will have this compound, and O1 right now is going for the chase against Punjabi Stabbers. On the other side, Bahati with a Winchester already taking point, but the rest of the squad is still looting up. So hopefully Bahati will have a little bit of backup once Lodex Bow has already jumped in onto the front lines. But shot from Bahati didn't jump in onto the front lines, but shot from Bahati didn't make it.
Opportunity to perhaps shut down boys. Stunners. They've got the right guns here in there. It's the Winchester as well as the Bahati just buying his time here. Connected with the electrotherapy as well is Shooter. He does have the capability to just bust through those glue walls if any are erected right in front of them, thanks to the Oscar and the Valiant Dash. But they need to play their timing right here, right now, before they get backstabbed.
Oh, let's see if they can go for that shot, because of the time that they spent waiting for the opportunity, a couple of players, or one more player from O1 has already jumped into the mix, as that is Watt right here, who have been taken out already, but you've seen what PS has done. They don't want to go and engage without any information. They try to get that, but the time is running out. Now, let's see if this is a chance that Bahati can use to take shots onto the other side on Dowers, because the cord hits like a truck and snipes as if it has a long range capability, but despite of it being an LMG.
Absolutely, man. God, I hate the cord when your opponent has it in their hands. And sometimes when you've got it in your hands, you hit nothing.
I guess the same story but for both of us. Right? I mean, if it's us, we don't make those shots. Even a hit marker doesn't like give us that chance. But for these players, they are on the way to pro. So let's see if this is something they can fix right now. INV, well, definitely either invincible or invisible, because CF Esports is going against them.
A beautiful first knock coming on through. And Koji down on the ground. Easy pick up, and Alex goes to put him right back down on the floor. Vanshu down, INV just slaughtering player after player as they come across team fighters. No fight in them, as it seems, in this first game.
Yeah, Team Fighters would be sitting this one out. First team to be eliminated. Now let's see. 7 elimination already for INV. For GOAT, they have 4, but unfortunately they've lost 1 already as well as LOX. Garcia right now trying, but Eliezer was again the story continue for him. But with that Morse, he will be able to get away, probably buy back his teammate, but that's so much of cash on him. It's a good thing that he might be able to get at least 2 right here if he had grabbed that coin, but well, it still works for them and they can still come back. So let's see what GOAT can do this time around.
Yeah, good thinking for the guy. Even a single second makes the difference. He notes as he went in there for the revive, choosing to play the coin machine. A couple of seconds right after that, Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses, and the truck will bust through another glue wall to give Gaviota a easy elimination. Man has got the narrow in his hands, along with a active skill card as well to pull up the chrono. The time turner is going to come in handy a little bit later on. Gets the other blue walls broken down. INV in a little bit of a pickle now as Strix turns his back on the squad.
Cartel Sewer right now is heading north as they go and fight against INV. No Joy would be giving out some joy, but unfortunate for him, he still didn't manage to go for a quick pickup, but that's good enough for them. INV, Alex is already down, and No Joy will not see anyone else, but I'm pretty sure INV is still alive and kicking right here. And a quick revive for the rest of the squad, and Sewer or Cartel Sewer will need to find their opponents quickly.
Yeah, great decision making coming through from the squad of INV. Back it away, final player. They had 2 players left. One stayed back to play distraction, buying their final player enough time to hit that triple revival. And all in all, it was a sacrifice well worth, and it was Strix that brought the squad back in here. But can he now sneak away? Jump pad? And
that was a crossover, bro. From the minimap, we're seeing one of the players from Cartel Sewer jumping straight into where Strix would be heading. But the jump pad, he used to pull away, but doesn't have that much time. 1v4 situation, and he goes down against that Car 98 from No Joy. But the rest of the squad has been revived. Now let's see if they can bring themselves up, because if I'm not mistaken, they are on the hit list right now from Cartel Sewer.
Yeah, I thought Crippy was about to get taken down there, but thankfully he managed to recover a little bit of a backup, and Strix stood no chance up against 2 players at the very same time who had those VSKs in hand. 9 teams left in here as we hit the 7th minute mark. Almil rocking it straight in. Maybe a date with Erica. One more shot needed. And Erica goes down. The rest of INV trying to rotate straight into the players here, hoping and praying they do not get spotted.
I mean, Erica was just bait right here. The rest of YLS has jumped into Graveyard, and a couple of players from INV just went back to mill to go for that revive. So let's see if there's something that they can pull off right now, because it's quite deadly, especially if they use that launch pad, that in-game launch pad that Bermuda has, and they will be the target for the rest of the teams. But speaking of rest of the teams, we have 90 right here, who's still alive and kicking despite of them starting off in Clock Tower. Now they are going against GV, and let's see if they can fight against Gaviota.
Yeah, let's see if or not Gaviota's squad has got what it takes here. Haven't seen them in action just yet. Up against the 90 pick at eSports. This could just be a little bit of a pickle, because right beyond their compound, Vipex Esports very quickly approaching. They have to either finish this fight right here, right now, or back away from this engagement, because Vipex will not think twice. What a god nade. Gets that hit, gets the guy taken down, and now opens up the fight here for 90.
Loving the succession of those skills as well as those glue wall melters. I mean, pulling up that Nero, just make sure that they don't pull up a lot of glue walls. And 90 right now, again, doing what they do best, chase around their opponents. Gaviota seems like they're losing those fights, but unfortunate for them, King is still alive with a woodpecker, and a backstab is potentially bound to happen. Only one remains, Alan XY, and they have been eliminated by Gaviota Savior.
My goodness me, I did not expect that one. But Gaviota and King, they have to make sure they don't get spotted out now. Thankfully, there's a vending machine right outside their spot. Fury Caesar, on the other hand, Cartel Sir with a opportunity to annihilate or be annihilated. Go to esports right in front of them with locks, but INV approaching quick from the back. Menor leading the squad. Erica gets tagged up. That slows down INV for just a couple of seconds here as Cartel Sir goes in for the final elimination on to Go to esports.
A little chance for him to go in for a revive because it's occupied by a couple of teams right here. Cartel Sur already with 10 elimination and goes for the 11 as well as a squad wipe against GOAT Esports. But the mission is not yet over. They still have INV to deal with, and Alex goes down in there up close and personal with M590 as they go in for the rush. Menor will be a major threat to this team right now, as INB seems like they are in it to win it.
Well, they are just mowing down everyone they come across. Instant revival here from Menor, bringing their buddy right back in. 9 eliminations strong for INV, the runner-up of the winter season last year. Looks like they still have it, man. In fact, they look a little bit more scary right now. Cartel Sir, on the other hand, are sure to finish on the #1 spot if they can keep this up for themselves. But Nojoy needs to be brought right back in. INV and Cartel Sir, 3 apiece on each side. This is a fair fight.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a fair fight indeed. And hopefully no one gets a disadvantage or either a third party. You still have 7 teams remaining right here. And there's potential because the Blues closing in. 7 teams might be hanging back in their hearing or waiting for those gunshots. But Menor and Erica from INV backs away, heads into peak. They might be seeing PS or Punjabi stunners right here. But on the other side, YLS just sitting pretty, chilling like a villain right now, waiting for Vipex to step in.
Yeah, well, as esports, Yolkis, definitely a familiar name alongside Kenny. If I'm not mistaken, 5 stars. They definitely played like 5 stars players the last time around, but this time a tad bit quiet. Vipex Esports, on the other hand, going to come across a freebie. 01 Esports. By Yolkis. It does not disappoint. YLS finding low power as well. And Vipex is getting all of these stolen away from them.
Yeah, and unfortunate for them. I mean, Vipex has that prestige, but not so much of elimination for them, and it's YLS who's taking advantage of it. Out in the open, Wazon is definitely not on this time around, and let's see if they can get that BOOYAH just to recover from the number of points, numbers that they need to catch up, and especially against Cartel Sur and YLS. But 01 has been eliminated. Now we're down to 6. Now, as you can see in the map right here, a little bit of careful approach for Punjabi stunners right here, but they need to worry about Vipex, who's already taking reins in the next phase of the circle.
Yeah, this is going to be deadly Neptune because the next circle is going to be on open grounds. So I think Vipex, trying to avoid all of those engagements, have found themselves a really, really good spot, and they do have a vehicle in front of them that they can just blow up and use as an extra layer of defense, because on those open grounds, it's going to be a tad bit risky, especially if your opponents have got that narrow or the Skylar on their side, just to wreck your chances out in the open. You have to depend on those glue walls. But that tense moment is going to come through in a couple of minutes. For the moment, Cartel Sir, sure as hell, staying away from all of the other action. far down at the very bottom of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, they are almost close to Gaviota. They pull away, but Binocular spots Vipex right now. And let's see if they will be taken down, because they're taking one of the compounds right here. Cartel Sur would be a threat, especially if Bahadi stunners, Punjabi stunners will be jumping into rooftop. They will be out in the open, but a shot onto Lopez XL pushes him down to the ground floor, and Punjabi stunners will now take the higher ground. But is that a good idea for them, especially with a small circle and a lot of teams targeting them?
I mean, that was a fantastic glue wall on landing, and they did manage to find one player from the side of Vipex as well, but there was just a knock, not really translating into much. Those grenades are going to be quite messy here. Lian backs away. Level 3 MP5 in hand and a little bit of backup. RGS comes on out, but misses the nade big time. Vipex, on the other hand, with Wason, opportunity M590, misses 3 shots in a row, does not miss the 4th, as he finally claims another player off of the board.
Oh, unfortunately, Wason was gunned down as he stepped out. It's Pahadi who takes that shot. Now, Vipex down to 3 players. 7 elimination after catching up. They were late in the party in getting those points, but now they have a potential of getting this BOOYAH. And this is a situation wherein we are seeing the tactics coming from other region being brought in by Vipex right now. Keep quiet in the beginning and make that noise towards the end. But speaking of quiet, Cartel Sur slowly moving in, but here comes the rain of fire, and this might hit like a truck, especially as Cartel Sur seems like the one who triggered it.
Yeah, fantastic play by Cartel Sur here. They've got 14 eliminations. Sure as hell had enough coins to get that lightning zone brought into this final bit of play. Vipex with the defensive spot, and Lian unfortunately takes himself right out. Zero needs to get picked right back up, and that's exactly what happens. And Vipex in a little bit of a pickle. Their player still down. Lian gets recovered instantaneously by Lopez XL as they barricade the doorway with all of the glue walls.
INV slowly moving in onto the other side, and that will be a threat that needs Vipex to be careful of, because yes, Cartel Sur in the front line, but they are still a full squad. Plushie has been released onto Zero and Creepy, but here comes the blue closing in. Menor moving in for the flank. Defense is the target, but they pull up a good defense right now, as 2 teams might be gunning them down.
Yeah, brilliant positional play here from Cartel Sur, just staying behind those barricades as INV approaches the players on the side of Vipex. No Joy right up on the roof, opportunity to strike, but he had to drop down onto the lower floor. Lopez XL finds No Joy. Unfortunate positioning by the player out of Caesar, but Cartel Sur still has got an opportunity here as they pick him right back up. The positioning from the side of Vipex just a little bit slow, but they cannot get out of that hut just yet as the circle now starts to move. Cartel Sur finally turns their back, but look at those flurry of glue walls coming out. They are using every bit of defense. Crippy, the Morris player, gets taken down. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defenses, and no save comes on through for him.
Vipex still has a chance to get this BOOYAH, but Lopez XL with that AWM needs to be on point. Alex is also waiting for the opportunity to go for the flank, but that fence is already out as the shift of circle is pushing them into the high ground, or lower ground rather, into the open. But will they be able to recover? Fury almost being eliminated, but will be picked up. 15 elimination already by INV, but they are losing players, they are losing point, and they are losing time.
Yeah, Zero with a big shot here, but Urix manages to take Zero out of the equation. Great counter as Cartel Sur gets taken out of the equation once and for all. Vipex gets the first BOOYAH of the day. Talk a little bit about bringing the consistency in. The champions from FF USA 2025 Winter does it again on the very first game here of FFWS USA.
They don't disappoint, and this is proof of it. Vipex rebrand is still bringing that fire, and did mention earlier towards the approach towards the final circle, they were quiet, very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And we've seen that so many times in the pro scene.
Yeah.
We've seen so many times in other regions wherein you don't have to make all those noise. You don't have to bring all those elimination out. All you have to do is wait for the perfect opportunity, and that's when they get that BOOYAH.
Yeah, absolutely, Neptune, and you got to appreciate the fact that they stayed in that house for so long, barricading all of their doors. I mean, that is one of the best ways to use your glue walls, right? Just make sure no grenades can sneak in through the doorway, no grenades can sneak in through the window as well. And Lian just had the grenade launcher on him, and I feel like that when he blew himself up, yes, it was a little bit of a mistake, but it also scared everybody else from the side of Cartel Sir far away. They were like, okay, we do not want to mess around with a grenade launcher. We don't want to mess up our opportunities, right? And surprisingly, they managed to walk out of that house still untouched, because INV, as they were circling in from the back, did not bother to go in and take the attack up against them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, though. It's tough right here to really anticipate what the opponents will be doing at this. Teams need to, to prioritize it. If you have compound control, you have your surroundings already favoring you in grabbing all those eliminations. So won't be surprised if they are a little bit short in terms of numbers, but we have to see that later on. And Wason is not yet triggered. Wason is not the Wason that we know him.
No.
He goes in for that one shot with M590. Most of the time, he goes for a knock. But that was the 3 times, and he just made it a 4th.
And I'm actually a little surprised that Krippy did not use his Morse, right? Because he literally ran across the open battlefield without activating his active skip, which allows you to walk across the open battlefield without being detected, which I feel like was a very, very big miss. He also did have the Morse, on standby. It wasn't like it was on cooldown or anything. So it was a very big miss from Cartel. So, but I am sure we can expect more out of them. But for now, the MVP, the one and only Minor, 7 eliminations, 4 headshots in total, 5 assists out of 3,527 damage. Rocking that Oscar, definitely a disruptive player out there on the battlefield.
Yeah, Minor is a major threat to the opponents, and we've seen that from the damage, we've seen that from the movement, but it's a consistency that we want to see moving forward. But Vipex has already brought in their, I would say, their prestige from the previous season. Will they be able to recover this time around? Because some of the teams
fly up against INV.
I don't think
Do that vending machine
for a fact that the top
INV, just like yourself up for the upcoming tournaments, we can assure you, you will not be disappointed, because this is just literally the start after a long, long time again. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, speaking of the start, so Lara about to kick off. This is game number 2 for groups A and B, the second, and of course, there's another one coming up for them in a little bit, but you can't really take your chances. You want to rip away as many points as possible, just like what Vipex, just like what INV, just like what Cartel Sir did in the previous game.
Yeah, let's see if that's something that they can bring to the table right now, as the flight path is coming from the south to the north. And, well, it could drain right here would be a starting point, but I don't think there's a lot of players that will be dropping into that area. High-tier loot zone is still open, and you know for a fact that the top teams would be gunning for that. Vipex already in high-tier loot zone next to YLSS. So let's see if this is something that they can do in the beginning compared to earlier, wherein they can get as much elimination before they get into the next phase of the circle, and J. Cole will be taken down despite of riding that slides.
Yeah, I mean, you want to touch Vipex in the high-tier loot zone, you got to think again, man. While as earlier on, this was the team that was sneaking away eliminations off of Vipex. And I think this time Vipex has got that perfect revenge on standby here. But of course, it wasn't too long before J. Cole got brought right back in here. They do have a vending machine on their side. In the meantime, 90% esports finding the players of INV on the back foot here. Strix trying to run away, buying a little bit of time as the rest of his team members regroup.
Well, let's see if they can regroup and get more of those points, because 90 is, we've seen that earlier in Bermuda, wherein they got that initial engagement, but they didn't win as much fight, and all they did was run away. But I think the same story is happening right now. They want to keep themselves safe, but it's not going well against this team of INV, because INV, we've seen that earlier, they want to go for those elimination. There goes a plushie, but Allen will not be picked up. The same goes for Johan and Steward. If someone from that INV squad has a Shiru, definitely